Hey, what's up, Roxstars? I know I said it wasn't going to be a top of the blogs this week, but surprise! Went on ahead and decided to spit one out at you. Shit, it's been an eventful last few days. Very eventful, trust me. When the time is right, there will be a story time about it. But for now, you know what? We just gonna say that that's behind us. And yes, today I decided to go on ahead and do a top of the blogs one because I did not get to see Scandal or How to Get Away with Murder last night. I was at Universal Circus, and that shit was so much fun. Just a really good time. If you have never gone, it's a good time for family. Old and young can appreciate it. But anyway, yeah, so I didn't see How to Get Away with Murder or Scandal last night. So then I was like, fuck, what am I gonna do a video on? At first I was just gonna say forget it, but you guys know the anal planner in me hates to have some inconsistencies in her week. I just don't feel right when I skip videos unless I just know absolutely that I can't do it. And something has to be done, y'all. So with all that said, bitch, this is a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blogs. Let's get to it. The stories that happened this week, I did not even have much information on because I have been so out of the loop. So I had to do a lot of researching on these stories, and most of them are just like updates about shit that's been happening these last couple of weeks. You guys know I'm so tired of talking about so many of these same things. I'm gonna be retiring some subjects, but we gonna touch on them today. We gonna update, but before we get to the updates, I got a little bit of a news story. So Karen Civil. How many of you guys are familiar with Karen Civil? I think we've all seen her face, seen her name, seen her at different events, and if you're anything like me, you were wondering, like, what exactly is it that Karen Civil does? Who is she? Why is she whatever she is? And how did she get there? Well, I'm not sure if I know the answers to that right now. However, she did a podcast the other day. I think it was called The Tax. What was it called? Oh, I can't think of the name of the podcast. But anyway, I sat and listened to the 1.5 hour long podcast where she just kind of talked about how she grew up, how she became immersed in the entertainment, music, hip hop industry, and kind of how she got to wherever she is today. Still couldn't tell you exactly what it is if I was going to go by what I heard on the podcast. She was a blogger who made sure that she was in all the right places to make contacts with people that were high up in the music industry, and was able to kind of parlay that into being a somewhat of a motivational speaker, somewhat of a branding coach for a lot of these rappers. Supposedly she started with Dipset, interning with them, got to meet the right people with her blogger in the correct places. And now all of a sudden she's become this personality where people want to be around her. She's got ties in with the political arena, you know, with Hillary Clinton, with Michelle Obama. We've seen her at the White House plenty of times. I mean, she's just been able to make something out of nothing. I won't say that she was nothing, meaning, you know, but she wasn't in that. Her family, from what I understand, was a Haitian family, middle class, but was not in this industry, and she's been able to make a name for herself in that, and looks like she's trying to get beyond even the music. So my hats are off to Karen Civil because she's been able to achieve what she has, and we still don't exactly know what it is that she does. She's had an eventful week this week because what happens when you have your beginnings and your deep roots with the hip hop community, sometimes it's very hard to leave that behind. Even in your professional life, you can achieve all of this, but you still got the nigga in you that wants you to be kind of connected to these folks. And I think that that's been the issue for Karen this week. First, before we get to her personal issues, we can talk about her business. In the interview, she talks about, you know, she's just talking about her background with Dipset and all of that. And she was talking about how Cameron has always been the way that he is, very, very in your face, very strong personality, kind of does what he wants to do and doesn't care what anybody else thinks. I get that same impression of Cameron. She gave an example of how he was blocking a parking space that Jay-Z was trying to get into. I mean, physically standing there, wouldn't get out of the way. And when Jay-Z got out to see who it was, he saw it was Cameron, and supposedly this is what started the beef between the two. Okay, well, it seemed like a simple enough story to me, but evidently it pissed Cameron off because he says that that is not what started the beef, that he and Jay-Z always had a very good relationship. Jay-Z pushed him and his music label very far, signed off on things that he didn't have to. And it wasn't until Cameron and his company tried to leave. Child, don't let me get these labels wrong. What was it? Def Jam? No, Rock? Whatever it was, he was trying to get out from underneath Jay-Z, and that was when the problem came. That little story that she gave about Cameron blocking this parking space, it pissed him off. He said that's not how it went down. But he went on to say how she stole $60,000 from him and his cousin who had this record label. She was expected to do some things for them and she didn't do it. And he also put out a video that, where she even said she took the money because she had to eat. Shit. Okay. And also on the phone call, they're having this conversation. I mean, she obviously didn't know she was being recorded, but Cameron basically said that she stole from them and kind of started to get a bad name for herself in New York. So she ran off to the West Coast, tried to kind of start over in LA, and that's what's worked for her there. And Karen Civil, of course, has not said anything in response to all these allegations this week. So we still don't know if it is or is not the truth. I mean, it could have some truth to it. People start off, they're not the same that they were, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. So, I mean, it's very possible, but it's interesting to me that they never came after her for that $60,000. I mean, $60,000 is $60,000. Maybe it wasn't anything that was written down, contracted. I don't know. But that's the issue with Cameron. Of course, after he came out and said that there is another rapper I believe on the West Coast. I don't have his name. I'm sorry, you guys, I didn't get it. But he is a starting rapper trying to get Karen Civil, I suppose, to help him with his brand, get his name out there, maybe book him in things. Because you guys, we see Karen Civil and she works with Nipsey Hussle, and we see her with YG, and we see her with a lot of, I won't say underground rappers. I mean, they're definitely widely known rappers, but we see her with that level of a rapper, which kind of conflicts with what her image that she's putting forth that she would want us to see. Okay, but we see her, working with Meek Mills, just the less polished rapper, more of the street level hustler type. It's just a fascinating sight to see her with these people. But anyway, this other rapper said he gave her $50,000 to help him, and she basically ran off with his money too. So now he's glad that Cameron came out because now he can speak out as well. Again, I don't know what to believe on those stories. Again, she's not going to respond because, when you give more energy to those type of things, it gets bigger and bigger. And sometimes you just shut the fuck up. And if she's a branding coach and things like that, she's very well aware of that. So she's probably not going to give too much energy to that and kind of let it die away. But it's been a bad week for Karen. Definitely so. She also touched on in that podcast on her personal issues, her breakup with this guy named Dean. Okay, and Dean evidently is part of Meek Mill's posse, crew, squad, whatever the fuck they call them these days. He and her were together, I guess, not even quite a year. And while they were together, she realized that he was cheating. And how breakups go. They broke up and shit probably was pretty bumpy and not the best at one time. They broke up. She's moved on supposedly. He's got a new girlfriend. The girlfriend now says that Karen Civil is stalking her. It was all this story about the girl being a friend of Karen Civil and all of this. Silliness, basically. Niggatry, hood rat antics. Okay, whatever you want to call it. The girl is saying that Karen Civil is now really, really pressed on the relationship with this guy, Dean, and, this girl. Well, Karen Civil, made it clear in the podcast that she doesn't care that they're together, that she's not stalking them, that she has a lot of shit going on in her own life Okay, and that it's a relationship that's over and, you know, it's done now. But now that people are saying that she's stalking, of course that pissed her off when she had to go off on the boyfriend. It was just like, you know, fucking leave me alone. Like, I'm not stalking you guys. I don't give a fuck what you guys are doing. And this is the downfall of when we still stick with niggas from the hood. Now, you trying to get to a different place in your life professionally. You got to sometimes leave the niggas alone. When I went to that guy's Instagram page, he's so fucking hood, like really, really hood, to the point where I was just like, wow, her image that I know of her, because I don't know much of her personally, but her image that I know of her, I couldn't even imagine her being with him. The shit that he said, the stuff that he posts, I was just like, yeah, why were you with him anyway? And you feel that way with a lot of these women today who get with men. I mean, you know, they say that there's a shortage and that it's hard for the more accomplished woman to find a man that's on her level, so then they kind of bring it down. That's the same with Nicki Minaj and Meek Mill to me, okay? I still don't see her with a Meek Mill. If I was to put Nicki Minaj with somebody, you know, of course she's very happy and she loves him or whatever. But, you know, it's like the same thing with Karen Civil. I was just like, girl, why are you with this nigga to begin with? Like, what is he? You know, just... So I couldn't understand that. It didn't make sense to me. But, you know, you see it more and more with women today being with men that I didn't feel was probably on their level. But then that goes to show you how well people are able to cover their own personal, put forth the image that they're this perfect, squeaky, clean type of person. Okay, and then you find out about all the bullshit and they're like, camera's about to die. Gotta put my plug in. Anyway, you guys, that's pretty much it for Miss Karen Civil. She gonna bounce back fine. Okay, she gonna be just fine. But a word to the wise out there, you know. If we want to get to a certain place, sometimes we just got to leave the fool of fucking niggatry alone. And that also means people. More specifically, hood-ass niggas. Girl, get you somebody that got a damn degree. That got a good damn job somewhere and ain't got the threat of going to jail every, you know, hanging over their shoulder. I know you could do better than that, Karen. Alright, you guys, let's talk about Rihanna, her video Work. It came out the other day. Actually, she has two versions of the video. One is in a club atmosphere, kind of like a juke joint. I don't know if that's what they call them down in the islands. I'm sure that's not what they call them, but it gives you that juke joint feel where everybody is just real closely packed into this old sweaty wood paneled room. Red cups and cheap liquor. Okay, but everybody having a good time dancing. Those are my kind of places for sure. She and Drake did that video together, and then after that video goes off, if you watch it on the YouTube Vivo page, then the explicit, I don't even know if it's explicit. I guess the first video would be more explicit to me, but they have a second video, just the two of them, you know, them both kind of sexily gazing into the camera, dancing. Okay, her kind of up on them, you know, kind of coyly looking at him, you know, them smirking at each other, her almost sort of dancing for him, but not quite, you know. Very, very cute. I thought the video was very, very cute. Videos are always good in helping us to like a song that we didn't necessarily like. And it's not that I don't like Work. I just think that it's just sort of like blah, 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 blah. I actually think that Drake was a very good addition to that song because he breaks up that, you know, with his singing, it breaks up that full on, you know, I don't want to get my Caribbeans and my island folks mad, because I know she's talking in the broken English, patois, you know, whatever the fuck it is that you guys speak out there is English, but it's got the twist on it. Y'all, my best friend is Belizean. Okay, so I got it in me, you guys. I do. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that same repetitive kind of whatever it is she's saying. I like the fact that he's in there and it kind of changes up the vibe of the song. But as a whole, you guys know that I love Rihanna, and I actually really like the album. The more that I listen to it, it grows on me, and I listen to it in my car, and I just really like the album. Speaking of the song Work, it has hit the #1 on the Billboard charts, and she has now surpassed Michael Jackson in the amount of #1 hits that she's had. Michael Jackson had 13 and now she is at 14. There's only 2 other artists that are ahead of her. Mariah Carey had 18 and the Beatles had 20. And I say had because I don't think either one of them are going to have any more #1 hits. So in all fairness, Rihanna could pass both of their records and become the only artist that's had, this number many, I'm gonna get my words together, this many #1 hits. And I really think that she can do it because she's young enough and she still has a lot ahead of her in her career. The thing about it is though, is we gotta wonder if Rihanna has already hit her peak with her last album. Although I love this album, I think we all know that it did not have the impact the rest of her albums have had as soon as they've come out. And everybody loved all the songs on it and everything. This album, is a study. It's a listen. It's not immediate love, I don't think, for many people. But then you come to respect the artistry and what she's trying to do, the growth in her. And so it kind of takes some time for you to really, really sit down and be like, you know what, this is a pretty good album. So it makes you wonder if she's already hit her peak, if she is on the downside now of that mountain, or if she still has room to go back up. I'm not in no way saying that Rihanna is played out and that she's not going to have any more hits and she's not, I'm not saying any of that because, like I said, she has a lot ahead of her in her career, but, everybody has a peak. And many times, or most times, artists are not able to re-peak again. So it's possible, but that still remains to be seen. But I will say congratulations to her because what I like about Rihanna is that she's just pretty cool and calm about shit that happens with her. She makes her music, she puts it out, she goes on about her business. We haven't seen her mixed up in any drama. She just seems to be an artist that does what she needs to do and moves along with her life. And I like that about Rihanna. We've watched her grow up right in front of our eyes, and I think she's done a pretty good job so far. What do you guys think about the Work video? Have you guys seen it? Which one do you guys like better? The video in the club scene or the one that is just separate of the 2 of them? You guys leave all your comments about it, but yeah, let's congratulate Miss Rihanna in her #1 efforts. Hopefully she'll be able to beat out Mariah Carey and the Beatles in the future. Tisha Campbell. Listen, you guys, I like Tisha Campbell. I thought that she was a talented singer back in the day. She was never able to, she was a bigger actress than she was a singer, I will say. Even though I think we first saw her singing Little Shop of Horrors. Then we saw her in Spike Lee's School Days. And then, of course, as she was on Martin, and her comedic acting efforts started to outshine her singing efforts. And then we saw her in different movies and all of that. So she's more of an actress than she is of a singer. But obviously, she still has the singing, the singing bug in her. She came out last year with this song called Still Here, Steel, and that was supposed to be her song to her accused rapist from back when she was younger, that she was confronting this person had to apologize to her, and she wanted to write a song about it, that she's still here in spirit, in physicality, and still as in strong. Okay, so we all was like, okay, very good, Tisha Campbell. You do what you gotta do to get through some shit, have you some closure, okay, and move on with your life. But we thought that was it, bitch. Very clearly, we hadn't gave her too much accolades. Okay, shout out to Nene. Because she hadn't felt like, well, shit, I'm put that out, let me put this next one out. And so she came out with this new song, y'all. See what the fuck it's called, Lazy Bitch. And then in parentheses, it says, this ain't Gina. Bitch, we know what the fuck it ain't. Child, they done put this damn video out of Tisha Campbell looking like the old bitch in the club, y'all. I'm telling you, we around the same age, so I can talk about it. You cannot be, you just... when we get to a certain age, unless you've been doing this consistently, like I think that even if it was somebody who's been singing and doing this all along, we could probably appreciate them coming out with music like this, even though I'm not really sure about that because Usher, y'all know that last album was some fuck shit. Him singing about the bitch on the pole, shawty, I don't mind If you're dancing 2, 3, if you're leaving with me. I was like, nigga, please. You know the fuck you ain't. You know good damn well you ain't going nowhere with no damn stripper. Your old ass wife. Like, you know that's not what he really does in real life. So it was just like he was coming out with this music that didn't relate well to him as a mature artist. They all get into this space where they be putting out shit that you be looking at them like, that is not gonna work. But in Tisha Campbell's case, she hasn't even been singing. So for her to come out now and this bitch trying to give us all of this, it just don't work well. And you just start looking at it like, girl, you must ain't had shit else to do. You probably was just like, you know what, let me go and put this song out, lazy bitch. Okay, even got the nerve to have Tasha Smith in there. And them all my homegirls, like, I feel like I could hang out with all of them. But in the video, just like, no, Tisha. She looks good. I mean, actually, she looks better than she's had for a long time because, you know, she had picked up some weight and it almost looked like she was on medication or something and she was swollen. But she's gotten down and she looks good. Her hair looks good. Her clothes, I mean, the whole look is good. Like, I'd have been cool if she'd have tried to, you know, hit us with a couple of R&B joints, throw that out at us. But I'm gonna need you to not be making no albums called Lazy Bitch, This Ain't Gina when we are fucking 45 years old. You know, I'm not an ageist. I know it's plenty of things that older people can do. I don't even feel old. But you have to remember your image and, you know, just kind of how you want to look to everybody. You want everybody to be able to appreciate what you put out. Your target audience, when you are 45 years old, needs to be somewhere around that age. Okay, we don't feel like seeing no shit called Lazy Bitch Tisha, but you know what? I'm gonna give her an A for effort. That bitch was on her Beyonce strong. Okay, she was like, fucking shit, I can do some shit like that too. I'm tough. Put this damn song out. Lazy bitch. Y'all, have you heard it? Y'all go watch the video and then let me know what you think. The Gemini, y'all. Now, we talked about Bruh Man last week on how it looked like he was so heartbroken that he and Jordan Sparks had broken up, and you know that he had then put this song out. You know, sound like we was a little touched. Leave it at that. How things have changed in 1 week. Evidently, your boy Sage was talking to his ex-girlfriend. What was the girl's name? I forgot her name. She puts out this whole video about, you know, how he was lying. She basically blasted him. She recorded him while he was talking to her on the phone one day. He obviously didn't know he was being recorded. And he said a whole bunch of really terrible things about Jordan Sparks. And I guess when you were under the guise of confidentiality, you know, speaking on the phone to your bitch, your side chick, your girl, whatever you want to call this chick, he obviously was very loose at the mouth. He said that the relationship was a publicity stunt and that they just put themselves together to try to promote both of their albums. I don't know if that worked because I couldn't tell you about neither one of their damn albums. Sage the Gemini, I still don't know what his music is. I just know his name because his name is different. I mean, Sage the Gemini. Like, we can't just call him Sage. Well, he's goddamn 3-word name. Shit. I don't know if that helped their album sales, but maybe it did. He says that, you know, she was cool, she was level-headed or whatnot, but in the same breath, you know, he says that she's not this perfect angel that everybody thinks that she is, okay? And then most of the times, he wanted to stab her ass, okay? That's how much she got on his nerves. I was just like, what? How do you be in the news? Now, ain't nobody told you to go out there into the blogs and to the internet and put all this shit out about Jordan Sparks, about how you love and miss her and how she's the only one to do this and that and the fifth for you. Make a whole fucking full-ass song about her. And then to go on the DL and tell this chick about how much you couldn't stand her. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Sage? See, this is what the fuck I mean about women, you know, dumbing it down and getting with niggas that don't deserve them. Because Jordan Sparks, her personality is wholehearted, very wholesome. You know, we look at her and we don't see no, you know, we don't see all this extra. We don't care about what happens behind closed doors. We see what she puts out for us to see. But then you get with a nigga like this and see what happens. This is why we can't women. Sometimes we just can't get with just any old body just because they cute and everything. We need to kind of look at that resume, make sure that they at least got, you know, at least that their intentions are pure enough for you to be in a relationship with them and you ain't got to deal with this kind of shit after the fact. I hope that that girl don't get back. I'm sure she's not gonna get back with him now. But yeah, y'all, I I feel bad for her. He said that she gave him $70,000 to get a house, and I guess he's grateful for that, but now he pretty through. He said that shit was boring. It was stale. It sounded like he was just basically trying to get back with this other chick, and she blasted his ass. And even though I don't like people that do stuff like that, in this case, I just kind of feel like that's what the fuck he gets. Jordan girl, stay away from Honey. Because I've been out of the loop, of course, I didn't really know all the beef that was going on with Blac Chyna and Kylie. Evidently, Kylie is going to have a cooking show on her app, and Blac Chyna was feeling some kind of way about it because we all know, if you follow Blac Chyna on Snapchat, you know that Blac Chyna cooks quite a bit. She always snaps what she cooks, and I guess she was in hopes of some sort of cooking show in the works. I don't really know. I don't know if Blac Chyna got the, she got the whole patent and trademark on cooking shows. I'm imagining that anybody can do a cooking show if they fucking feel like it. But I guess, Blac Chyna was feeling some kind of way because all of a sudden, Kylie, who we don't really see as a cook, now all of a sudden she wants to do this cooking show. So y'all never know what might be going on behind the scenes or whatnot. I can't, Blac Chyna and Kylie, they always going back and forth. We know it's because of Tyga. All right, there's a lot of bad blood between the two of them. Now that Blac Chyna is with Rob Kardashian, I'm sure that just mixes the shit up even worse. Tyga comes out, of course, defends his girl and saying that Blac Chyna stole the idea from Kylie. Y'all, I cannot with them, okay? What I want to talk about more is Blac Chyna mama. I wish the bitch came with a translator, because I'm telling you, she be so passionate with the shit that she writes down, honey. She get on that damn Instagram and that Twitter and she blasts a motherfucker to the 10th degree. It's just that you don't never really know what the fuck she's saying. She come up with a whole bunch of, it be all kind of like, what? Child, you really got to put your thinking cap on and you got to forget all about the English language and the grammatical rules, and you just got to go for what the fuck you know when you I'll be like, girl, you was doing too much. I guess she is probably around my age, and honey, she is definitely a supporter of her daughter. She believes 100% in her daughter. She obviously hates the Kardashians, and honey, she just gets out there and she just goes off on everybody. I need somebody to just sit with Blac Chyna mama and be like, girl, listen, we all know how you feel. That's your baby. You should always be supportive of your baby, but get your fucking ass up off of these internet streets. Cause child, you just looking dumber and dumber. And I'm sure the lady probably got some good sense about her, but yeah, I'ma just need you to stop it. After a while, it just looks silly. Cause ain't nobody studying you. We get our entertainment, we get our kikis and our teehees and our ha-has off of it, but then once it's over, you just kind of look like you crazy. So somebody get with Mama Chyna and just let her know, girl, we all know how you feel. You ain't got to do this no more. Okay, go on, be somebody's fucking granny some damn where and get off the damn blocks. Y'all, another thing we still fucking talking about is this damn Beyonce thing. You guys know that she has her concert coming up. And now the big talk is that the police don't want to police the event because they're pissed at her for, inciting this whole, we hate the police kind of thing. And that's really not what it was. I just don't even know how we got to this part. I don't know how we even got here, just from a damn Super Bowl performance. But now they're saying that they're not going to be policing her events and securing the events and all of that. So Minister Farrakhan came out from the Nation of Islam, and he said that the Fruit of Islam will protect her if that's what needs to happen, if the police want to get crazy and these motherfuckers don't want to show up at the damn concerts. Of course, Beyonce hasn't spoken out about any of that. She definitely is not going to have the Fruit of Islam secure her. I imagine that she probably would hire a lot of people that were Fruit of Islam connected to do some security around the event, but to full on say, yes, I'm hiring the FOI to come in and secure my event and all that, and to, kind of line herself up with the Nation of Islam and Farrakhan, who is very, very, very polarizing. And we know that even though Beyonce is dabbling with all of this right now, okay, that bitch ain't trying to jump into them to the race infested waters just yet. She ain't trying to take it there. So while I think that it's great that Faircon offered that, I don't think that it's ever going to go there. Now the police are saying no, that's not what we said. The police will definitely, if they're working that day and if that's their assignment, then they are definitely going to police the event. What they're saying is that the police that she hires undercover, or the ones that are inside the event just kind of as extra security, that are working outside of their regular jobs, as security, those are the police that are not going to help her. That's what they're saying now. And that's where I was saying that she could probably hire some Fruit of the Islam security people that are not officially there in that capacity, but to secure the event. So I don't know though, you guys. I think the whole thing is just ridiculous. Okay, the bitch is just trying to sing. Motherfuckers done bought tickets to go to a concert, and all of this extra is entirely too much. I can't wait to hear her album though. They say that it's rumored to be coming out in April. And when you hear the commercial for the concert, when you hear it, it has that old Black Pride type music feel to it. It's kind of very I'm just wondering if this album is going to speak out quite a bit on racial issues, or if it'll just be another regular Beyonce album of her singing about love and sex and relationships and dancing and partying, or what. I mean, it'll remain to be seen, but I know it's a whole bunch of hoopla over this. I'm sure many of you guys will be going to the concert. I was trying to get tickets, but the motherfuckers is entirely too high. I can't do it. Okay, but I think the rest of this talk about Beyonce and the Formation video and the song and Super Bowl and all of that, I'm done. That is definitely a subject we are not going to be talking about here no more. And then lastly, you guys, these legal issues that Kesha has right now. So supposedly, Kesha's been going through a whole lot these last few years. I had remembered us hearing about her all the time, and she was all over the song charts, and she had her songs out, and everything was catchy and cute and, danceable. And all of a sudden, she started to having some emotional issues. And then I think I remember reading that she was like bulimic or anorexia. I think it was bulimia. And that she had went into a rehab, and she was there for a couple of months. And then when she came out, she was, intent on changing her image. Dropped the $sign from her name. Wanted to be a different type of Kesha than we all knew. Shortly after that, we found out that she was going to be suing Kemosabe Records, which was which was what she was signed to, and they were signed underneath the parent company of Sony Music Entertainment. She was trying to get out from under Kemosabe Records, and the founder and the runner of that label, who is Dr. Luke, because she said that Dr. Luke had emotionally abused her, had psychologically abused her, and had physically abused her, sexually abused her, and had been this horrible person to her, to the point where, she lost her self-identity, her self-worth, her self-confidence, okay, and that was responsible for her big breakdown and why she became bulimic and all of this, and she wanted to get out from under Kemosabe Records. So they have this big lawsuit that's going on right now where she's suing, trying to get out from under them. She doesn't feel like she can be, artistically creative working under a person that put her in that type of situation. So there's a big case, but they had put out an injunction to let her go from Kemosabe so that she can work with other producers, trying to get out of this contract with Sony altogether so that she can go on to work somewhere else. Dr. Luke has always maintained that he didn't do anything to her. He treated her as his little sister, that he didn't have sex with her. And the reason why she's putting all this out is just because she's trying to get out of this contract negotiation, and that, she turned this whole thing into this terrible, horrible, I'm a raper kind of thing, and that's not what it is. So, to make a long story short, the court said, we're not going to let you out from under them. You can still work very freely with other producers. You don't have to work with Dr. Luke and Kemosabe. You can work with somebody else, but we're not going to let you out from underneath Sony Music Entertainment. And then the court also said that they didn't feel like, she had been raped, because she and her mom both had testified under oath that she wasn't raped. The court felt that she was very vague in her deposition about this said rape and the relationship that she and this Dr. Luke guy had, and they didn't have any medical evidence to support any of this. So the the court was just like, well, because of all of that, you know, we just gonna say that I'm not letting you out from under him because we don't have proof that that even happened. So it's a bad situation all the way around, because I don't think that Kesha is going to do anything until she can try to get out from underneath Sony. Of course, it's just Kesha and her mom trying to fight this huge, humongous record label, who I'm sure is going to beat her in just the lawyer work. I mean, she can't afford to fight a conglomerate like Sony Music Entertainment. So shit is running real low for her, and it's going to be worse and worse. And I think that's what they're hoping, that eventually she just ain't going to be able to afford to do the shit no more, and they just going to, you know, go on about their business. She's going to be stuck under Sony, and you know, we probably won't see or hear too much from Kesha anymore. I think all of this has already damaged her image pretty bad. I think actually the breakdown was a pretty large blow to her image to begin with, because that was during the time that she was really, really big. And then all of a sudden it was just like, okay, she's in the hospital, or she's in rehab. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I feel sorry. As a woman, I feel sorry for her. I can definitely see how all of these things happen. You know, you're in a situation where somebody gives you a whole lot of money and they promise you stardom and all of this, and they provide for you. They say that he owns the house, or he bought the house and owns the shit that they have to use. And, you know, he kind of controls them by saying, if you don't do this, I'm a not pay this bill, or I'm not gonna do, you know, there's a whole bunch of other shit that's involved with it. But as a woman, it's just sad to know that, you know, if indeed the rape did happen, if it is true, people don't speak out because they're afraid of the backlash that even she is getting right now. People don't believe her. They think that she's lying. Oh, now she's mad because, you know, such and such isn't happening anymore, and now she wants to say that this person did something to her. Okay, that's why a lot of people don't come out and say that they've been raped, because people don't want to deal with that on top of whatever their issues are. So as a woman, I feel sorry for her. As a middle class person that ain't got no whole bunch of fucking money, I feel sorry for her, because she's about to lose all of everything, probably trying to fight to get out from underneath this contract, and it's not even promised that her career is going to take off in the direction that she wants it to, even if she's able to get out from under there. She's running out of money. We all know about Taylor Swift giving her the $250,000 and Demi Lovato having something to say about it. I'm gonna stay out of that, because I feel like Demi Lovato just doesn't like Taylor Swift, which many of us don't. But I think as a bigger picture, I think it was cool of Taylor to give her the money. We didn't need to know about it, but for her to give her the money just because she's about to run out. And it could very well be a case about this Goliath company trying to squash this little teeny tiny Davy down here, you know? So it's like, I feel sorry for Kesha. I can truly see how all of this could definitely be true. And then, and on the very other side, you can also see that, you know, a person who is desperate to get out from underneath a contract that they feel stifled under and can't be creative may come out and, you know, possibly exaggerate the truth to try to get out from underneath it. But you know, if I was to just really sit back and read about all of this that was going on, I am leaning definitely towards Kesha's side. I truly believe this Dr. Luke person maybe have been a little bit more involved with Kesha than he would like us to believe. So, I don't know. I hope that at the end of all of this that, you know, she's okay mentally. She ain't looked stable for some years now, and I'm sure all of this cannot be anything but stressful on her life, her family's life, and all of that. Of course, we don't want the child to die from bulimia or anorexia or whatever the eating disorder was. But yeah, so that's it, you guys. We'll keep our eye on it. But what do you guys think? I mean, do you think that even if she does win the case and she gets out from underneath Sony, that she's going to be able to pick back up where she left off? Leave your comments below. Alright, you guys, let me get off of here. If I have time, I may try to do Black Girls on Television this weekend. Maybe. I just don't know. I'm not going to promise. Y'all let me know if you really, really want me to do it. If I do it, it probably won't be up till Monday unless I just get some extra time today. I mean, do y'all even want to see that shit on Monday? Or, you know, should I just pick back up next week? I hate inconsistencies in my videos and my playlist and shit like that. So I hate to have a playlist with some episodes skipped, but I know my schedule for this weekend is going to be busy, and I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to get it in until Monday. So y'all just let me know down there what you think. I haven't even seen Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder, so once I see it, maybe I might change my mind and be like, oh no, I got to review this, even if it is fucking 5 days late. Y'all know I hate reviewing shit very, very late, because people have their videos out already and they've already said everything. So it's just like, why am I still doing this a fucking week later? So y'all just tell me what you think. Leave it down there in the comments, and then if I get many yays, then you know I probably will try to knock it out for you guys on Monday, since there will be no Real Housewives of Atlanta or Potomac because of the Oscars. Alright, but that's it, you guys. We do this every single week. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, Roxstars. Bye.